Center.
Hello and welcome to the TMC Newsroom. My name is Rich Tehrani. Thanks for watching us. This week we're in San Jose meeting with some of the best and brightest tech companies in the Silicon Valley area. On our program right now is Joseph Heinen, who is the VP of Strategic Marketing at Alcatel Lucent Enterprise. Welcome to the show.
Rich, thank you.
Glad to be here. You. So the company used to be Genesis,
And
the division.
Genesis is still around. Genesis is still doing great. In fact, one of the things we like to point out about Alcatel Lucent Enterprise, growing, profitable, and we like to try and promote more the Alcatel Lucent name because we have pulled together these different enterprise businesses. You know, Genesis had always been strong in the customer service area, and Alcatel Lucent had had communications and network businesses that were selling to similar customers, sometimes exactly the same customer. So we ended up pulling those three things together operationally, and now we operate as Alcatel Lucent Enterprise, and Genesis is just one of the product solutions that we have.
And what are some of the interesting things happening at the company nowadays?
Two things, and one of them, which we are just introducing this week, so I'm glad to have you in San Jose to talk about new things, is a visual collaboration suite, which we're just bringing out. It's actually not from the Genesis side, it's from our comms and networking collaboration about everything that we're doing across the three businesses, because we know that there is an awful lot of enterprise interest in collaboration. I mean, people are looking to be more productive, and they're certainly looking at new tools to do it. But when they think about video, a lot of people are focused on video conferencing and think that they need to have telepresence rooms. So we're trying to be more, let's say, democratic about this in terms of bringing that visual communications approach to more parts of the organization, lower price point, more use cases, and ways that we think are really going to have an impact on productivity.
And what's the response been? Have you had a chance to tell some customers?
We have a couple of people. In fact, not surprisingly, there is so much investment these days in the healthcare business. One of our early customers is Advocate Healthcare, and they see collaboration, visual collaboration, as being one of the big productivity points for them to be able to bring in team members at the time and with the context that are appropriate to make an impact on a medical decision. So we think that not just in healthcare, but in all of those other communications-intensive businesses, in financial services like banking, insurance, and others, there'll be a lot of reasons that people who depend on knowledge workers want to make them effective, and visual collaboration is one way to make knowledge workers more productive.
It's very exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, it's one of the things that we're finally getting, I think, traction in the marketplace about things that people may have always thought would be in their office or in their home office or on their PC sooner. And now we're seeing the uptake of remote workers who want to be brought in just as if they were operating in an office. We see people who are in distributed organizations, some of whom might have very elaborate conference centers, terrific, love to see them, but they also know that there are team members who are sitting in siloed sites that they didn't used to be able to bring in on an ad hoc or scheduled basis. So this is really a way to now increase the amount of collaboration and to be able to bring tools not just of video, but also things like shared whiteboarding and other day-to-day productivity tools across a distributed enterprise.
So it sounds like just the merger of kind of like unified communications, social, collaboration, just all of the stuff's coming together, right?
I think you probably are hitting about three mega trends that everybody thinks are important. Because in the social area, there are so many new collaborators that people would like to have in a conversation. It might be a business partner, it might be a customer,
right.
It might be just another employee. So what are those circles, and how do I end up being open to be able to bring in someone who may not have the same communication tool that I have, but I need to be open to still have them collaborate on a particular project or on a particular deliverable or presentation. I also know that we want to be able to scale it up. I mean, the idea of social media is that you can be very much more collaborative in bringing in more people to a decision. And the way to do that is to tie it in with the UC platforms that allow knowledge bases to be shared, allow people to be able to look at the same sorts of tools. So I think that it is that combination of collaboration, social media, communications that is hitting the right sweet spot right now.
So what other things are you seeing in the market?
I think that the internal tools and the external communications in the enterprise are all being heavily influenced by what we see in the consumer market. Right? I can talk to my daughter on FaceTime or talk to her remotely over Skype, and they just kind of expect that those video connections are going to work. But that simplicity and the openness had never really been present in the enterprise. They tended to be siloed, they tended to be proprietary, same thing. And so now people have a variety of techniques that they've become accustomed to using for personal business or just personal communication. They expect, why can't I do business that way?
Right.
So it's this movement of consumer and kind of conversational things into the enterprise, which is putting more pressure on it. On the other hand, a CIO is now worried about things like security, scalability. What do I do with all these personal devices that are walking in my door? I mean, I walked in here with an iPad, which is not on my CIO's list, but when I walk into my office, it's still connecting and I'm still using a bandwidth and everything else. So I think that the tools that people want to have for a scalable network infrastructure that can manage a variety of devices, to do so securely, to be able to offer new communications, things that we've had in the consumer world, now in the enterprise. I think all of those things are calling for new ways to have technology support new methods of working.
So what are some of the things we can expect in the future from your group within the company?
Well, the extension from inside the enterprise to externally is an interesting boundary to cross. Right? Because if I think about collaborating with you on a presentation,
sure,
but I want to give that to one of our customers over here, and I want to be able to loop all of these people in. Things that you and I might expect, what's the context of where we are? Are we both in a meeting?
Sure.
Are we at high bandwidth locations? Do you have your PC? I've got my tablet. What does that customer have? So I think that the extension of the collaboration from inside and among business partners and employees to customer service points and to let customers be able to talk with us in any way, shape, or form, in any media, across any type of connection and with multiple devices. I think that's where we see the openness and where we see the extensions. Because we know that people want to start with something that's in a box. They want to start with something that's easy. They also need to be able to extend it to more types of devices and to more types of network connections, but still manage it as a whole. So I think that when we go to the end game, we're going to see some really interesting kind of futuristic scenarios that may look a little immersive. We may look like we're sitting here in front of a green screen. Maybe we're actually sitting in front of the beach, and people out here don't know that we're sitting on the beach.
The screen behind us is really
instead.
green, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Very cool.
So we move on out. We might end up with us on the beach and our customer somewhere else, and we're all having a good time.
Thanks.
All right, Rich. Thank you very much.
Great to see you.